So we have Bitcoin sitting at $63,720, attempting to put in another higher low off of the 50-day moving average, which you can see over here on the 4-hour chart, right? Bouncing off of that key zone, also meeting the mid-range horizontal resistance or horizontal support, I should say. So it is looking good for continuation over here in the markets. And if you look at the responsiveness over here on the Banter Bubbles charts, well, you can see hourly's up, daily's up, we got the weekly's up, we got the monthly's up, and even the yearly's are up. So it's definitely starting to feel like we're so back in this type of market, but we're still waiting for that all-important higher high on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, which will really start to shift the momentum and the trends towards the upside. So let's get into it. We have a whole lot to discuss in today's show. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And let's get straight into the show content. I'm looking over here at the US debt clock, which just continues to tick towards the upside over here, and you're starting to see many nations across the world going into loose monetary policy. Now, when that happens, that's typically where we see the major runs occur within crypto, right? And you can have a look at it. The blueprint is right there before you. It's pretty simple. You have here your 2012 election phase, the Obama era, and then we go into the Donald Trump era, then we go into the 2020 election phase, and look at the price action over there. It just trends onwards and upwards, everything moving towards the upside over there, looking really, really good. And this is a product of the M2 money supply, which tends to go up. Now, we've noticed that it's about an 8 to 10 weeks delay for Bitcoin price when the M2 money supply starts to increase radically, which we saw happen a couple of months ago, right? Which means that we're right at that point where we should start to see the markup phase taking place for Bitcoin. And that's what we're still currently waiting for. This is overlaying the M2 money supply with Bitcoin and giving a 10-week lead. You can see this is the expectation, is Bitcoin in the pink should slowly start to catch up, or actually rapidly, not slowly at first and then rapidly thereafter. So Marty Party coming out with China is considering injecting up to 142 billion of capital into its biggest state banks. The first time actually since the great global financial crisis that occurred in 2008, which reset the markets coming off of a major bull run. And that pretty much started the 18.6-year real estate cycle once again, which I actually also have overlaid over here on this chart. You can see that's the start of that 18.6-year real estate cycle, plus 7 years to complete phase one, and then plus another 7 years, which is where we're at right now. We're finishing phase two, the final period where you expect that things go absolutely full vertical, and then you end it off on that 14-year mark right over here. So we got this period over here leading into the election phase. I'll highlight it over here for you to see. This is where we experience the biggest period of blow-off tops within markets, is in between these two lines over here. And we're getting very, very close to that. So there is a lot to look forward to. And you can actually see the SSE composite. This is essentially the Shanghai index for China, their stock market, coming into a very, very long multi-decade trend line over there, holding that as support. And if we drop that from a monthly onto a weekly, well, you can see the way that that news was taken yesterday, leading to a massive up candle. Right, this market has been bleeding out for quite some time. Big up candle over there. And then we can also go on to, if you look at the Nikkei 225, which is the Japanese market. Remember, we had the yen cash and carry trade, which started to unwind over there, but coming directly also into key support. It's amazing how the technical analysis always lines up. And all in all, looking at a big bounce off of that, and we're seeing continuation onwards and upwards, which means that that's becoming an old news event that the market is shaking off, and we're seeing the liquidity step into the market in the form of central banks, major central banks' assets going up. We have People's Bank of China here stimulating. We have the USD stablecoin supply also increasing, and we're just waiting for that M2 money supply to get caught up to from Bitcoin. So James says it over here, summarizing it really well. We're going to have an election, which I just showcased to you on the chart what that looks like. One of the candidates will take office. It really doesn't matter which one. For the markets, the market will continue to go up. The government will continue to run massive deficits, and now we see this US debt clock just continuing to tick and tick and tick away, and consequently the only way they're out of it for them is to print money. The money supply will continue to expand and Bitcoin will go higher. So have a great night or have a great day wherever it is in the world that you are. This is what you have to look forward to. Now, it's bad for the rest of the world that's unfortunate and not able to invest and put money into the markets, but I guess you're not one of those people. That's why you're here. Smash the like like button if you are one of the people that have the privilege to put your money into the markets and not get robbed of the silent killer. And I don't mean high blood pressure, I mean inflation, right? The silent killer, inflation. We're seeing over here the daily exchange volume still ticking towards the upside, all good sign over there. So just double checking those metrics. And then we can have a look at the Renko charts. Let's have a look at the Renko charts, which we haven't seen for quite some time. Here's your Renko, right? Renko looking really good with Bitcoin turning green over there. ETH still red, but about to turn green. We have Solana still red. We have Casper though, which has turned green. We have Sui, which is green over there. And we have Injective, which is green. Very, very simple. When it's red, risk off. When it's green, risk on, and the market is going up. So you're looking at some of these other coins to start to turn green and catch up, right? This keeps you in those trending moves. And all this while the market is still at 50 on the fear and greed, sitting in that neutral territory, which is really, really good to see the market climb and grind out of here without snapping back into greed or extreme greed. This is what you want to see for those healthy signs. We have the DXY, which has snapped back above the acceleration zone with a big spike towards the upside. So still waiting for this to break down. Even if it does spike up high over here, I'm viewing it in one of two ways. Well, either it's just going to drop like a rock in water, or it might spike up over here, create a lower high, at which point you still have a descending triangle, which is forming. Descending triangles have measured moves, which break down when they reach about 70% of the way through that descending triangle. So we're still waiting for that. Remember, the DXY going down is typically really good for the risk on assets. And I also want to just showcase what happened in 2020. Remember, gold's always good at sniffing out a crisis, and consequently leading into that pandemic period, we saw gold, which is in the white over here, rapidly increasing towards the upside. And then when we got to the beginning of the last easing cycle, that's where we saw gold outperforming Bitcoin, completely outperforming all the other risk on assets. And then slowly after that, we had Bitcoin in pink over here, chopping about. And then it started to go parabolic. And you can see over here, timing wise as well, that was in September, right? So in September is where it slowly started to mark up. And then you led into that October, November, December, where it just rapidly push towards the upside, and we could be seeing something similar with that lag, right? Here it is on the chart in live time, looking at gold on the top. I have gold on the top over here, clearly outperforming the rest of the market, and this is on a daily time frame. You have these stock markets, which are kind of in the middle between gold and Bitcoin, which is on the bottom over here. But the point is, Bitcoin is still chopping about, Bitcoin is still lagging over here, and even the stock markets are trading higher relative to what Bitcoin is, right? Gold is leading, stock markets coming in second, and Bitcoin coming in third place. But Bitcoin tends to outperform in the final leg. So that creates an opportunity. If Bitcoin is going to outperform the rest of these asset classes and commodities, well, that means that is a good opportunity to get into the market. And you may be in a position where all you have to do is literally buy and hold the right coins. And if you do buy and hold the right coins, the only responsibility and job that you have to do is to monitor the daily and weekly timeframes to ensure that trend continues to remain to the upside. And also simultaneously, all you have to do is protect your capital, right? From hacks, from theft. Keep your crypto safe. Now, we do have an amazing offer, which I was just announced pretty much yesterday from Run. He told me that I should let you guys know on the show that he's extending that offer to you guys as well. If you buy a ledger today, and it can be any one of these ledgers, you run the risk of maybe getting 2 or 3 ledgers in the same delivery package, right? So buy one today and you might just get lucky enough to get 2 or 3. There is a link in the description below to qualify for that. You absolutely have to use this particular link that's over here. Use that link, protect your capital. Guys, it's insane to have the majority of your crypto on exchanges. Understand that even the crypto exchanges, right, like ByBit, BitGet, Blowfin, etc., what they tend to do is they keep about 10% of the reserves on the exchange for those few people that want to withdraw. And the other 90% they're keeping on ledgers. They're keeping it safe, right? So not your keys, not your coins. Please do understand that. Take the opportunity while it's still there. Let's move on. Having a look over here at the stock markets. Again, another day of all-time highs for the S&P 500. Nasdaq still slightly lagging. Another day of all-time highs for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and another day where Coinbase is lagging, which presents an opportunity. Remember, Coinbase is your altcoin index, essentially. Think of it like that. If altcoins are going to outperform like they do in the prior cycles, then you can expect that instead of having to pick a needle in a haystack, you can look to something like Coinbase, right? Coinbase will be your opportunity to get that exposure. I'm talking more towards the conservative people, those of you that maybe don't have your finger 100% on the pulse of the market, but you're looking for a safer play. What you can do is you can either buy the top 10 cryptocurrencies. There's many indexes out there that offer that opportunity to you. Therefore, as the market goes up, they rebalance your portfolio for you. If one coin falls out of the top 10 and goes on to place number 12 and something else replaces that, they'll sell that other coin into the one that's strong, so you maintain the top 10. Or you can do something like buy Coinbase, right? That's just an easy tip for you, and I still think this is pretty undervalued. You're going to be looking at Coinbase rallying up much higher. Remember, this is still way below the IPO price, where it came out at $428. And one of my golden rules is I never buy something as it IPOs. I always wait for a minimum of at least 50% drawdown on most IPOs. But on some of them, you can go down as far as 92% like this, like trading like an altcoin. So still very undervalued on Coinbase. We have Bitcoin volatility still low, waiting for the breakout of the cup and handle formation. We still have Bitcoin chopping about over here. And this is what we said, at least in Whale Room. I put out the notice on Monday. I said, watch this week. You might see a lot of chop about over here, maybe even coming all the way back down to the 21 exponential moving average. That's sitting at $61,000. But then expect that later on, over the next week or two, you'll probably break out of this level. So that's currently still the situation. And that's part of the reason why you see that fear and greed sitting at 50, right? A lot of people still uncertain in these markets. But I can tell you, as long as you're above that 21 EMA, the market is long and strong. It's healthy. You're looking at that as a major opportunity. And that's why you're seeing price hold above the 3, the 9, and the 30 MA. This is on the 5-day time frame, and that's for Bitcoin. And for Ethereum, you can see attempting to flip this into support, and now it needs to challenge all the way up to $3,000, which is where your 30 MA is coming into place. So here's Bitcoin still holding above the pivot level. The RSI is trending towards the upside. You can see it over there. As long as it's above the yellow line, RSI moves onwards and upwards. What is the RSI? Relative Strength Index. It means that the bulls hold the strength and momentum to continue to push price onwards and upwards, right? We're still challenging that 200-day moving average, which you can see price has fallen below. Now, you can make the argument that theoretically there will be a lot of traders looking for short opportunities over here. And it makes perfect sense that you would take a head short trade over here. And the keyword is a head short, right? You should have the expectation that it's probably going to get stopped down, but at least it's an insurance against all of your longs, because you do still have the presence of lower lows, or not lower lows. Let's say you have the presence of lower highs, but you do have higher lows which are currently in place. So there's a change of character, but not a break of structure yet. The break of structure occurs when Bitcoin breaks above $65,050. And based on the way it's grinding into this, I think that's more probable than not. But that doesn't mean you can't take the short trade. Just to be clear, my personal belief is that we're in this Wyckoff accumulation schematic, that we're currently transitioning from the spring phase down here, where we swept the lows, broke below $50,000, and currently we're trading somewhere around here, where we're about to transition into the sign of strength. Sign of strength phase will most likely come when we do break above the 65K level, as well as above the 66K level, getting into this zone where you break that downsloping trend line. That's where your sign of strength comes into play. And as per the Wyckoff accumulation schematic, what you tend to see is an overextension above that. People get really excited. Late buyers step in, FOMO buyers step in. They FOMO into the market right over here as you move into phase D. And then you usually will flush them down just one more time, right? So be careful of that. As that flush comes down, that's going to be your last point of supply and your final opportunity to get into the market. Now, remember, when it comes to these Wyckoff accumulation schematics, these are simple guidelines, right? Where you're reading the various emotional states that the market goes through within each of these phases. It is not a one-for-one blueprint that you can follow where you say, okay, cool, that was the spring phase because it looks the same, and consequently, we're just going to rip on out of here. We need to gauge each of the sentiment factors along the way. So here it is. We're coming into that key phase over here. You guys know this. Remember, 160 days post-halving. That is typically where the prior cycles have started to mark onwards and upwards and start to get a little bit more aggressive in their rallies, which is supporting what I'm seeing over here, right? It's supporting of that potential sign of strength phase. So let's see how similar the timing of this cycle will play out, right? Because we're right at that point, right? We're also coming up approaching the 680 to 685-day mark. By this point, you usually want to be 100% entered into the market, especially if the trend is towards the upside with higher highs and high lows. Remember, we're still waiting for that higher high. We only have a higher low. We still have lower highs. So once you have higher highs and higher lows, and you approach this phase of the timing cycle, you usually want to be 100% into the market, looking for that next leg up where prices will start to rip through all of those key levels. And this is what we're seeing on the 4-hour time frame, right? The bulls are just marching price onwards and upwards in the form of higher highs and high lows. And I told you yesterday, please pay attention to the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. In the start of strong trending moves, you would expect that price will base off of this quite a few times, bouncing off. And if you look at Ethereum, well, Ethereum looks no different, right? You got the golden cross, 50 is above the 200, basing off of that, starting to get a little bit of a bounce, and it's onwards and upwards. We're just waiting to clear those final resistance levels. All right, so make sure that you have your accounts ready to get into those positions. If you, by the way, are looking for exchanges that don't require any KYC, know your customer, where you have to give up your personal information, your passport, your ID, driver's license, whatever it is, and you want to be more anonymous when it comes to your trading, well, one place you can do that on is Blowfin, guys. There is a link in the description below. This is going to be the final day where you can participate in the spin the wheel competition. You have the opportunity to win 𝗬𝗎𝗓𝗓, root mantra, or you have a 1 in 8 chance that you're not going to get anything. So most of you will be winners. Use the link below, sign up. I am going to get new coins on the list for you, by the way. So there will be new coins that are coming soon. If you use the link below, that will qualify you for a sign-up bonus as well as the spin the wheel. All right, let's have a look at this over here. You can see the liquidity is stacked below. There is currently 62,557. That's going to be just short of $12 million worth of liquidity. So again, that is, look, I don't think we're going to hit that because we're already basing off the 50. You're probably going to continue onwards and upwards. But that is something to look at. There is mixed deltas over here because Bitcoin slightly positive but coming down. Ethereum, the deltas are negative, showing that shorts are stepping into the market. Keep in mind, a lot of these shorts that are stepping in right now is exactly what I've explained to you. These are hedge shorts, right? People that are looking to take out a short trade as insurance against their longs. And what typically happens is this creates additional liquidity towards the upside because market makers send price towards liquidity. Remember, when a short trader gets squeezed, they're betting on the market going down. So when they get squeezed out of their position, it automatically market buys back into the market. Their stop loss is the equivalent to hitting market buy. And if everyone gets stopped, and that's equivalent of everyone hitting market buy simultaneously on the chart, and what happens is you get this big spike towards the upside. So ETH deltas are negative. Solana deltas are slightly positive over there. Near deltas are positive. We have WIF delta is positive. And then interestingly, we have Casper's delta, which is incredibly negative. Let's have a look at Casper on the 4-hour time frame just to get an idea of where the EMAs are at, right? So here's Casper. Okay, Casper still below those EMAs, right? We still have the EMAs governing price towards the downside. So Casper is going to be looking to get back above this. If you do get a bit of a short squeeze over here, watch for how price reacts into the 16.5 to 16.6 territory. I can tell you that on the daily timeframes, Casper against BTC is still in an uptrend, right? High highs and high lows, and it's not looking too bad over there for Casper on the higher time frame. So we're looking at that. We're looking at Total 3 really squeezing into this territory over here, potentially about to break out in a big way. Now, if Bitcoin starts to get above 66K, you're probably going to see this breakout, right? So important to watch Total 3 because that will tell you what the altcoin sector is going to do. Bitcoin dominance, we're still waiting for confirmed top over here. It is a potential that this will occur based off this candle, the prior candle that we had. A little indecision candle near local high is indicative that maybe this is the reversal point, but it's too soon to tell. That's the reality. We do have to patiently wait. But even people that have been loudly bearish, like Benjamin Cowan, on the altcoin sector, has started to come out and say that I think that ETH BTC is entering into a bottoming process, just like in 2016 and 2019 after it broke down. It's always possible, of course, for it to go lower, he says over here, in that range. But overall, I think that the window for doing so will close by the end of the year. So basically, over the next 3 months, you're looking for a major bottom on ETH BTC, which means you're looking at a major bottom on the overall altcoin sector against Bitcoin. And what you can see over here, if I just zoom in and move that to the left, is when it broke that trend line, you had 1, 2 candles dropping price down, and then it ripped up, right? That's what occurred in the 2017 period, just before the 2017 rally. Just before the 2020 rally, what we saw over there as well is when this candle broke down, you had 1, 2 candles, a bounce, and then you chopped about, you came for a double bottom, a little bit of a high low, and then it ripped. What are we seeing now? Well, we've broken below. We have 1 full candle. This is the second candle. And typically you don't see continuation beyond that second candle. You might get a little bit of chop and indecision on the third candle, but more or less now could be the time to start to rotate some of the Bitcoin into ETH. I'm personally keeping my Bitcoin. I prefer to take new capital from various different businesses. Most of you have jobs out there. You're getting paid every single month. I'd prefer to take that money, keep my Bitcoin safe for the really, really long term. Those generational buy entries are rock solid. I'll prefer to hold those and then allocate new capital into things like ETH, right? Under the expectation that this is going to be a bottoming formation over here and we're going to spike on out of there. So that's what we're looking at over there. Here is your ETH USD chart. Right, we said question mark, no guarantee that you'll come into that buy zone. I've shown you on the 4-hour time frame how price is holding up at the 50 EMA, bouncing off of that. So this is unlikely. This is your daily 3.8 or 0.382 fib retracement level, which is called your shallow fib. So if price comes back into that, that would be a strong buy zone. But the 4-hour, of course, paints a different picture where things are holding up. Now, I did mention that in the thumbnail, at least, that, whales are opting for coins other than Ethereum, right? They're not picking Ethereum as the institutional trade anymore. So I'm sure many of you can guess what that coin may be, what they're putting into their portfolio. And if you have a look over here, this came out just yesterday. $100 billion asset manager Van Eck says that Solana has the potential to reach 50% of Ethereum's market cap. And the evidence goes beyond just this tweet, that many of the institutions are choosing Solana as the platform to be, right? At least as the crypto to allocate into, as the blockchain to allocate into. And if it does reach 50%, well, we can use various different metrics to determine how high will Solana realistically go. We have to say realistically, right? Well, if it reached 50% of Ethereum's market cap right now, Ethereum's market cap is at 315 billion. Solana's market cap is at 70 billion, right? So that would mean a double from here. If Solana had to double its market cap from here, where could you expect price? Well, you can actually use this tool over here. That would take Solana to $335. But keep in mind, over time, you would expect that Ethereum's market cap is going to go higher and higher, just like the rest of the market, right? And how do we know this? Well, of course, if we look at a chart like this, like total 3, which is going to go up, if total 3 is going to go up just to meet the measured move of this breakout all the way up to 1.23 trillion, that means it's going to add on many, many, many billions, hundreds of billions onto its market cap. And how much of that share will Solana get, right? Solana is currently the market leader. That's the reality. Like it or not, that's the truth. Currently, it's the market leader, and it's a winner-take-all environment. This goes for life in general, guys. I mean, hate to break it to you, but this goes for life in general. The winners tend to take all. Go look at the Pareto principle, Google it, look it up yourself if you want to learn more about the 80-20 rule. Winners take all, right? So Solana being one of the market leaders, you would expect that the market cap should rise exponentially. So I think that we can play devil's advocate over here and presume at least that, by the end of this cycle, Solana will at least reach Ethereum's current market cap. If that is to be the case, and this is now giving you realistic perspectives, if Solana were currently Ethereum's market cap right now, but towards the end of the cycle, what price does that give you for Solana? Solana would then be valued at $671.50. Now, it could go higher, but I think this is a realistic target. I think this is a realistic price target. So let me know in the comments what you do think of that. Now, of course, there's ways to make even more money than that because we know the nature of the retail sector. The retail are always going to go for the higher beta play. They like gambling. They want to go for the opportunities that could lose them all their money, but also at the same time could make them a millionaire. Where are those opportunities found? Well, we know where, right? You can go to the Solana meme coin sector. Now, of course, guys, I've dropped the whole list of every single Solana meme coin that I have in Whale Room, as always. But for those of you that are on the show here, I can just mention a few. Of course, WIF is going to be one of the top meme coins on Solana. We've already seen the hat stays on, the marketing, it's going on to the Vegas Dome. There's all of these various different things. You've got the likes of Bonk, Ponky, Myro. There's a whole lot of different meme coins. I have dropped them in. You got 𝗕𝗏𝗧 as well. The ticker is 𝗕𝗏𝗧, right? They're continuing to create content, very, very good content. You've got this long-term reaccumulation. We're waiting to break out the top side of the range. This is personally one of my picks. Well, members got in on this coin at $800,000 market cap. We're sitting just shy of $15 million market cap, which means that you're still up massively on those positions. So it's up to you on how much risk you want to take on. If you are looking to take on more risk and you believe that Solana will in fact reach these numbers of 671 million or $671, excuse me, then you have to ask yourself, well, what price levels will the likes of 𝗕𝗏𝗧 reach, WIF reach, Ponky? We have all these different coins, right? What will those meme coins go up to? So first, Solana does need to break through the resistance. Currently, just for what it's worth, it's finding resistance at the 200 MA, which is currently at $154. And you have the mid-range, which is just above that. Flipping this $164 level is going to be very significant. If you can get back above $164, $165, flip that into support, that's going to be strong, where you're going to be looking at another major move towards the upside. Now, again, if you do want to learn more about trading, analysis, etc., please sign up to Whale School. We had an absolutely killer welcome event yesterday. I really enjoyed chatting with you guys. Those of you who were there, let me know in the comments if you were in Whale School yesterday and what sort of value you got from that. I think it was a phenomenal session going over risk management, support and resistance, the fundamentals of trading. Next week, we're going to be going even deeper into some of the strategies. So use the link below if you do want to join. We've opened up a couple of latecomer spots for those of you, who still had work commitments and weren't ready. You can still join. You'll just have to catch up the welcome event. And then for those of you who, of course, want to jump into Whale Room and take your trading to the next level, big shout out to Josh, the Navigator, one of our traders in the group who works for Whale Room. Look at that absolutely amazing Arweave trade, putting in big profits over here, sniping it from the exact bottom, 244%, taking 75% off the table, leaving the last 25% to run, and doing exactly the same thing on PopCat the day before. This is our members, right? These are the members' profits over here. Really killer profits. Look at this guy, 1,558% profit, 282, 99, 31. Really phenomenal community over there. Everyone is great friends, helping each other along. If you do want to be part of a killer community, the link is in the description below. Let's get into a couple of the other altcoins, right? Let's get into a few of the other altcoins over here. We'll have a look at, just want to quickly scan through and see what's going on over here. Is there anything particular that's standing out like a sore thumb? Let's check up on 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗓. So 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗓, perfect. That's looking good. Of course, it has to contend with that 200 MA, but currently it's broken the downsloping trend line, breaking out of the falling wedge formation, consolidating above the breakout level at the W, right? This is a W breakout, getting above the neckline over there, back testing and support, looking strong for continuation. Okay, we can look at, I see you guys want 𝗕𝗤. Let's have a look at 𝗕𝗤 quickly. How is 𝗕𝗤 doing? All right. 𝗕𝗢 obviously extended well beyond the 200 MA. This was your breakout level, really big trade. There is going to probably be some profit taking coming in over here. So as mentioned, if this is a confirmed local top, your profit taking level, any spikes that come down into the 0.382 will be the level of interest. And what you typically see with this kind of stuff, when you have these big extensions, is if it's going to continue with strength and it does spike down like that, you'll form a range, also known as, right, a massive bull flag. And then you lead into the next leg up. So these markets can be very unforgiving to those of you who are sidelined and don't have your trades on the table yet. You'll need to really, really scour through the charts and look for areas of opportunity. But a lot of the coins are approaching their 200s, right? I can show you over here, Injective. So don't FOMO into positions, right? Don't FOMO in, because you could get proper pullbacks coming off of these 200s. Let's see, here's TON, right? 200 MA lining up exactly over there with the 0.618 and 65 level. That is a golden pocket where I said I would expect a little bit of a rejection. But the good news is that this one's still angled towards the upside, that the MA that is, which is, of course, good news. Let's see. How's Casper looking? Okay, so Casper still above the 200 MA, pulling back. There was some profit taking that we took over here at this trade. You might get another opportunity if it does come all the way back down to the 200 and meets up with a very, very long-term diagonal trend line over here, which should also be holding us support. So I think this one's great for the long term to reaccumulate and to get some new positions in for the long term, right? Mantra, also above the 200 MA, looking good. This one's continuing up, showing a lot of relative strength. We have, of course, the trade on, not on that one, on Rio. Let's check on Rio. So Rio, again, had a little bit of a pullback. Buyers stepping back in. We need to get back above this key level, the 200 at $1.35. But looking at full profits on this trade, I do believe that should come at some point. Okay, you guys are asking for SUI. Let's go to SUI. Of course, one of the crowd favorites. Many people are talking about SUI catching up and possibly even outperforming Solana. There is a fractal over here. You can have a look at this. There is a bit of a fractal taking place. SUI is catching a narrative that it's so-called the Solana of this cycle. Could do well. It could be an interesting play, but you do need to monitor the trend. The reason why is because SUI still has a lot of unlocks. So something you need to be careful of. You don't want to get dumped on by all of the unlocks, people that are getting their tokens, which have bought at much, much lower market caps, which simply means they're in massive profits. The other thing is that you have to ask yourself, is the technology 10x better than Solana? Solana is obviously carved itself into the market. It's got a massive market share, and the Solana dominance continues to trend up. It would have to be 10x better to displace Solana, right? So keep an eye on it, but nevertheless, let's look at the chart. Huge move. Of course, we did bring this up already. Throwbacks into the range high over here is going to be your back test into support. So that's going to be around that 145 region. Check that for support over there. That is a key zone. All right, Turbo. We can have a look at Turbo. Turbo is a meme coin. We haven't looked at this one for quite some time. How is it doing? All right, it's above the 200 MA, which is a good sign. It respected the range lows. You never got a proper sweep below this range low, though, which is unfortunate. It's always nice to see that you sweep that level. Then you have much more confidence in the long setup over here. You got very close to the range low. Look, sometimes it is what it is. It may never sweep that level. It may just rip from here. But I would say if you're long on this at the moment and you got in near the bottom, great trade, continue to hold it. If you're not long, I probably wouldn't be buying over here. I would have to wait for some sort of a meaningful pullback within this region. Let's look at TRX, right? Because TRX was at one point a bit of the darling child, but it's cooled off a bit, right? So you had the big move up. It's forming a range, and this is what I spoke of. You're looking to accumulate near the bottom of the range, and where is that? Like I just said, usually it occurs around that 0.382. That is your shallow fib, and that's where you expect support to be found. So if you believe that Tron is going to outperform, then you're viewing this as the area where you're going to start to form the bull flag, and then you should look for higher prices at a later stage. So all in all, looking really, really good over there. What do we have? Superverse. Let's check the gaming sector, quickly see how is Superverse doing. This is, of course, Elio Trades project. It has reclaimed the 200. It is approaching the range high. You do have to be careful over here as it comes into the top. This is where we've seen the prior rejections. If it's strong, it will break out and will anyway backtest that, holding it as support. So as you approach this region, it's really a good idea to take some profits. And when I say this region, I'm talking about $1.15. As you get into that $1.15 zone, look to take some profits. If it breaks out in a big way, it will come back and you'll probably get back in at the exact same zone, but with at least confirmation, right? The gaming sector, some of the coins have picked up. We can re-look at, let's see, Monkey Ball. I saw some things coming out about Monkey Ball. Obviously had a big move over here. This will need time. I wouldn't chase it. If you're in, you're in. If not, sit on your hands and wait. There are better opportunities. Let's see. Is the gaming sector turning around? Vulcan Forge coming off the range lows over here. So, look at least for a spike up to the 200. This is also underside resistance over here. If gaming is going to pop, you could get a move on this. This will take you up 40%, right? 40%, and then 420 is where you'll find a little bit of that resistance. What other ones do we have? Let's just see. Do we have Prime on here? Where's Prime? There we have it. Prime, also one of the most talked about, stronger looking ones. So I spoke about this coming into the pullback level between $12.39 and up to about 14. You are starting to get that pullback. If you're bullish on Prime for the long term, this is the area where you're going to look for support to be found. Probably look at this on about the 4-hour time frame. Just double check. This could be the zone. This could be the zone where the high low forms right over here. You can see flagging. Let's actually just quickly pull out a fib and mark off these levels over here. And you can see over there coming into the 50% level, dropped a little bit below the 382, but coming into the 50% level, which is exactly where that low is. You look for the 382 to 50% level as major support. If it holds above that, you could get continuation. So this may be the zone where you get that higher low. Guys, remember, just quickly a shout out over here again to Ledger. We are looking to partner with them. We haven't partnered with them yet. We believe they're the best technology out there. Well, of course, this is a great opportunity for you now. If you do want to possibly get more than one, use the link below. It's only for today. Please use the link below. I will see all of you on the next one. Catch you all in Whale Room for the live session on Zoom later today. Have a great day and cheers for now.